Monday, except not really. But I promised you a book review, so we'll pretend that it's Monday. So Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Not so much a story. I mean, there's not a consistent storyline. It's what it really is it's a character analysis, because it's a bunch of different random scenes with seemingly no connection. But it's really a character analysis. The whole thing is told from this person's point of view, and it's like he's sitting and talking to you. And what this story really depicts really well is a period in a person's life where they're heading toward this great burnout, this great crash and burn. We all at some point in our lives hit a period where we have just hit rock bottom. But what this novel depicts is the downward slope towards that depression. Not even really the depression itself, just all the downward slope, the events leading to it. Holden Caulfield, while I was reading the novel, I found myself frequently very, very irritated with Holden, with the protagonist, the narrator. And the reason is Holden is one of these people who just has a very, very negative, bitter, and cynical attitude about everything. He goes off on a lot of digressions, and most of the time his digressions are rants about some particular aspect of life or humanity that he hates, that he's irritated with, and he's never happy with anything. There are moments when you want to literally reach into the story and hit Holden over the head with a blunt metal object. What Holden wants to do, the person that Holden wants to be, he wants to be the guy that fixes everything. He just wants to take everything that he perceives as wrong with the world and fix it, but he doesn't know how to do it, hence the depression. So he has a great deal of pent-up energy and pent-up passion for this thing that he wants to do, and he exercises it by directing a lot of hatred and irritation at the world in general, and that's the sense that you get reading this novel. One of the things that defines adolescence is this kind of sense of this pent-up passion that's kind of spilling out everywhere, but they don't know how to direct it yet. And a lot of adolescents is figuring out where they want to direct all of that passion that they have. This is not a novel that you read for pleasure. This is not a novel that you read to give you warm fuzzies. It's very angsty. It's oftentimes depressing, oftentimes irritating. But it's a novel that I think that everybody should read at least once in their lives. There are so many aspects of it that are relatable to people. The people who do feel like Holden does, who feel like failures, who feel worthless, who feel like there's nothing good in the world. And it's not an easy novel to read, but what really pulled it together for me, what I really, really liked was the ending. Nothing is resolved in this novel. Like I said, it's like Holden sitting and talking to you about these few days in his life, and at some point he just says, well, that's all I'm going to tell you. I'm going to stop there. I could tell you this and this and this and this, but I'm not going to. But despite that, at the end of the novel, there is this really beautiful scene, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to let you read it by yourself. At the end of the novel, there is this really touching scene that gives a real sense of hope, really the only sense of hope in the entire book. So Holden is starting to recognize, yes, I'm at this rocky point now. Yes, I'm really miserable at this point, and I don't know where I'm heading, but I can climb out of it, and I will climb out of it. So, Catcher in the Rye, J.D. Salinger. Read it, digest it, and then go read something light and fluffy for pleasure. Toodaloo.